What's good, fam? And welcome back to Teen Talk. Have you ever felt like you're playing a character in your own life? Like you have different versions of yourself for school, for home, and for your friends, and you're not sure which one is real? In part 1, we learned the chaos in your brain is totally normal. But today we're tackling an even bigger question. What if none of those characters are the real you? And what if that's actually a good thing? Get ready, because we're about to change the entire way you think about who you are. So we know our brains are doing a lot of work, but what are they actually building? For a long time, psychologists had this one big theory about it, and it's kind of like the final boss of a video game. Back in the day, this psychologist named Erik Erikson came up with a framework for how we develop throughout our lives. He said that being a teen is like playing a video game level called identity versus role confusion. This stage typically happens between the ages of 12 and 18, and the main quest is to answer the big question, who am I? To beat the level, you have to experiment. You try on different roles, activities, beliefs, and behaviors, like trying out different character classes in an RPG. Are you a warrior, a mage, a rogue? You dabble around. You see what fits. If you successfully navigate this stage, you win and unlock a core virtue Erikson called fidelity. Fidelity is a fancy word for being true to yourself. It's the ability to form genuine relationships and have a solid sense of who you are that stays with you for life. But if you don't complete the quest, you get stuck with the role confusion debuff. That's when you feel like you're just drifting, unsure of your place in the world, moving from one job or relationship to another without a real sense of direction. Erikson saw this stage as super important because building a strong identity is the foundation for being able to form close relationships later on. And here's a little bonus side quest most people never hear about. Another psychologist, James Marcia, built on Erikson's idea and came up with something called identity statuses. Think of them like bonus character classes in the game. First is identity diffusion. You haven't really thought much about who you are yet, you're just kind of coasting. Then there's foreclosure. That's when you basically take somebody else's script, your parents, your cultures, societies, and you run with it without really exploring. Moratorium is the classic side quest phase. You're experimenting, trying on different roles, different aesthetics, different beliefs. And then there's identity achievement. You've explored, made some choices, and now you feel pretty solid about who you are. Here's the catch, though. These aren't one-time levels you beat and move on from. You can move between them throughout your whole life. Adults hit moratorium when they switch careers, or foreclosure when they just blindly follow trends. Knowing about these statuses doesn't lock you into one box. It just gives you language to understand where you're at, so you don't feel broken for being in a season of searching. Now, Erikson's idea is a classic, but here's the major glow-up on that theory. Modern psychology has a new take that's frankly way less stressful. It says your identity isn't a static thing you find, like a lost AirPod. It's a story you write. It's called your narrative identity. You are the author and the main character of your life story. The self isn't a fixed thing. It's fluid and adaptive. Your brain is a natural storyteller. It takes all the fragmented moments of your life, the good, the bad, the absolutely cringe, and weaves them into a cohesive narrative that makes sense to you. This story is what gives you a sense of continuity, the feeling that you're the same person you were yesterday, even though you're constantly changing and evolving. And here's the best part. This story is not etched in stone. You get to revise it every single day with new experiences and new interpretations. A breakup isn't just a failure. It can become the chapter where you learned your own strength. A failed class can be the plot twist where you discovered what you're really passionate about. You get to decide what the events in your life mean. This completely changes the game. It means your identity can be fluid. You're not a fixed jock or nerd or e-girl. You're a complex, multi-chapter story with different seasons and character development arcs. This is so important because social media, especially TikTok, is constantly trying to shove you into a niche. It's all about the core aesthetics: cottagecore, dark academia, goblin core, whatever core. The algorithm loves a simple, predictable box. But you are not a box. You are an entire library. Thinking of your identity as a story you write, rather than a box you have to find and fit into, is the ultimate power-up. It gives you permission to explore, to change, to be a walking contradiction. One day you can be into heavy metal, the next you're baking sourdough bread. It's not being fake, you're just writing different chapters. Let's break down the difference. In the old-school fixed identity trap, the goal is to find your one true self and lock it in forever. But with the narrative journey power-up, your goal is to write and rewrite your personal story as you grow. In the old vibe, change is seen as a sign of failure or confusion, making you feel fake or inconsistent. In the new vibe, change is a sign of growth and learning. You're just entering a new era. Labels like jock or nerd used to be boxes you had to fit into perfectly. Now think of them as chapters or playlists you can move between freely. Mistakes and flops? In the old trap, they were proof you weren't good enough. In the new power-up, they're plot twists that build character and resilience. What about what other people think? The old vibe treated external opinions as the final verdict on who you are. The new vibe sees them as feedback and data, but you are the editor of your own story. The old way feels anxious, pressured, and rigid. The new way feels curious, adaptable, and empowered. So let's land the plane on this. The old stressful pressure to find yourself is officially canceled. You are not a finished product hiding somewhere waiting to be discovered. The big takeaway is that you are the author, and your identity is the story you are actively writing. Your flop era is your character development era. The messiness and confusion are just you writing the most interesting chapters of your life. This is the ultimate power-up, but it leads to a new problem. It's hard to be the author when the whole world is screaming plot suggestions in your ear. That's why in our grand finale part 3, we're getting practical. We'll break down exactly how to mute the noise from your friends, your family, and your phone, and I'm giving you a full toolkit of side quests to start taking control of your narrative today. If this episode blew your mind and made you feel empowered, hit that like button to let me know. Subscribe and turn on notifications because you will not want to miss the final part of this series. And for today's comment challenge, drop the title of the current chapter of your life story below. I can't wait to read them. See you for a finale. Peace.